Don't you love it when the characters blush? I know I do. Well, I actually plan to make this into a kind of new series, which each episode I will recommend a few animes of that certain genre that I like and that I think you should give it a watch. These animes may or may not be popular, but if you're looking for new shows to watch from a certain genre that happens to be the theme of my video, it may help you. If I haven't covered the genre yet, well, I guess subscribe and ring the bell because you don't know when I'm gonna make them, and when I make them, you'll get notified. This is a win-win. Anyway, today I'm gonna talk about some romance animes that I think are worth watching. Now, when I say romance, I don't mean boobies, fan service, dramatic romance. The romance animes I'm recommending today are some that I think are kind of comfortable, chill, and sweet, you know? What I mean is, these animes I'm recommending today are like a light breeze in the middle of a hot summer day. Or maybe the feeling of sinking into the couch after a long day of work or school with a cup of hot tea or hot chocolate, whichever one you prefer, in your hand, and you're in your little jacket just to keep you warm enough during fall. They are heartwarming, and they remind you of youth. You know, those years, not sure if y'all ever went to like a school that requires uniform, but that feeling when you finally put on your summer uniform without all that bulky ties and blazers, just a simple short sleeve t-shirt, yeah, that's the feeling right there. Anyway, too much talking and let's get into it. Komi-san wa Kamyusho desu. This is certainly a very popular anime and manga that is lucky enough to get 2 seasons and hopefully more. Well, for those of you who still haven't seen it, Komi-san is a comedy slice of life school romance anime consisted of different skits with a central progressive plot, which is of course the love life of the protagonist. It is about the encounter of a high school student Komi who has communication issues and our protagonist Tadano, who's definitely an absolutely average high school boy. And Tadano's goal in the story is to help Komi overcome her issues and make friends. Even if you're not a fan of romance, I think the comedy is still pretty on point. And of course, I've mentioned that there are a lot of good puns, whether you're interested in the Japanese language or if you're learning the Japanese language. It's still pretty cool to be able to understand them. Now, the romance, well, this is a young romance anime. There's a lot of shy, blushing, awkward scenes which really demonstrate the bittersweetness of puberty. Not to mention the communication issues Kami is facing, which, cause her to be more embarrassed or shy or self-conscious. I really like about the relatively unique way of communicating and understanding each other the author created. Whether through paper or writing or through telephone, texting, these seemingly fragile connections have just really strong bridges that link the protagonist's minds together. Using, or rather abusing, my season's analogy, it's like warming your hands on a snow day. If you want to check this series out, it's on Netflix, both seasons. Tsuki ga Kirei. This is not really an unpopular anime. It gets mentioned here and there, but I think this show is severely underappreciated and overlooked. This show is about the relationship between 2 middle schoolers in their last year of middle school. The story revolves around the innocence, teenage puppy love, mixed with anxieties and insecurities. What I really like about this show is how realistic it is. I know we all love drama, but being realistic doesn't mean being boring. Realistic here means it captures the minds of teenagers going through puberty that happen to fall in love really well. The context of this anime is also very perfect. Parents, schools, peers, and yes, parents do exist in this anime. This anime captures the very first date, the very first relationship when you're like 14, 15 very well. Everything is plain, simple, and innocent. 2 people sitting next to each other not knowing what to say, not knowing how to hold hands. These little embarrassing moments that reveal the teenage self-consciousness are just realistic. Let me go back to the realistic part again. Remember, parents and school exist, and these usually are the hindrance in a teenage relationship. These hindrances unfortunately are not usually overcomable, especially when you're only like 14 or 15. Watching these anime really reminded me of the little relationships I had during those years. And the naiveness, the innocence, and the simplicity really brought out some nostalgia. It may seem a little slow at moments, but what should be appreciated here is the quietness. Because that quietness is like a buffer to all the unspeakable thoughts in a teenage mind. Overall, this anime is perfect at capturing what teenage love is. If you're interested, you can watch it on Funimation. Karakai Jouzu Takagi-san. The legendary Takagi-san is a slice-of-life anime composed of mostly skits about our male protagonist Nishikata getting constantly teased or tricked by his sitting neighbor at school, Takagi-san, who of course has a crush on him. You know what they say, if they tease you, they like you. The story is set in their middle school years. In the first few episodes, it may seem a little slow as far as the romance goes. But as you progress into the series, you'll see the growth of each character, the development of their relationship, and of course the evolution of their chemistry. I think it also captures teenage love very well. The elements of puberty are very well incorporated. For example, the shyness, the self-consciousness, the immaturity, and the insecurity. If anyone of you have ever dated during middle school or high school, it may remind you of that innocence of that love or that relationship. Even though there are not explicit expressions or demonstrations of love from each character, what is sweet in this show lies in ambiguity of the characters' feelings toward each other. And there are definitely moments that will make you squeal because it's just that sweet. It is a very realistic and wholesome portrayal of puberty that will put a smile on your face. The author is just very good at incorporating that teenage element in the romance. It doesn't have much fan service, but it doesn't make it better or worse because it's just not that type of anime. It's supposed to make you feel sweetened. And it also instills a little nostalgia in you of those middle school teenage years and any relationships you have had during the time. If you're interested, Season 1 is on Funimation, Season 2 is on Netflix, and Season 3 is on HIDIVE. There's also a movie, but unfortunately it's not showing in anywhere other than Japan and Taiwan, as far as I know. サイダのように言葉が湧き上がる. This anime is about the encounter of a boy who's not good at communicating with a girl who's a very famous streamer, but is at the same time very conscious about certain features of herself. It's set around insecurities of teenagers resulted from puberty and the fear of criticism. They both cope with their own insecurities in their own way. The boy chooses to wear headphones all the time and use haiku to express his thought, while the girl chooses to wear the mask all the time. There's a very charming, subtle, and soft dynamic and chemistry between the two main characters. It tells a very beautiful story about the characters overcoming their insecurities, essentially teaching us, the audience, to embrace ourselves. Especially in the days of technology, we've become more and more conscious about how we present ourselves online, like on social media. This anime tells us that it is okay to be different, everybody is unique. I know this has become a very cliche theme, but it doesn't nullify the fact that the anime is still beautiful in every way. The atmosphere is very quiet and dreamy because of the colorful palette and the music that develops the chill, laid-back, and quiet vibes. It's just very comfortable to watch the show. It gives the vibes of summer. Much like the title of this anime, it feels like the rushing breeze as you take a big sip of your soda during a burning hot summer day. And apart from the art and music, there's also a lot of haikus in the show, which are all beautifully and thoughtfully written. In fact, the title of this movie is also a haiku. Overall, it's a soft, comfortable, quiet, chill, laid-back, and simple summer show. You can watch it legally on Netflix if you're interested. Alright, so that concludes our video here. Thank you all of you for watching. Hopefully the anime I've just recommended have sparked some interest in you. If there's a genre that I should do next, definitely leave a comment. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified, and I'll see all of you next time, hopefully.